the only creature that ruled the land, sea, and fear itself. There was a time on Earth when danger did not belong to one place. It was everywhere. The ground beneath your feet could betray you, the rivers beside you could hide silent predators, and even the shallow edges of the water where animals gathered to drink were filled with uncertainty. In that ancient world, survival depended on knowing where it was safe to stand and where it was safer to run. But there was one creature that blurred that line completely. A predator so unusual that the normal rules of hunting no longer applied. When animals fled toward the water, they were not escaping danger. When they stayed on land, they were not necessarily safer, because this hunter moved between both worlds. It did not belong only to the forest or the plains. It did not belong only to the rivers and the swamps. It existed in the shifting space between them, where few other predators could follow. And that creature was Spinosaurus, one of the strangest and most powerful dinosaurs to ever live. To understand why Spinosaurus was so different from other giant predators, it helps to imagine the landscape where it lived. This was not the dry, open territory often associated with famous dinosaurs like Tyrannosaurus rex. Instead, the world of Spinosaurus was ancient North Africa during the Cretaceous period, a region that looked nothing like the vast deserts seen there today. Millions of years ago, this land was dominated by enormous river systems, winding channels, dense wetlands, and coastal floodplains that stretched across huge distances. Water was everywhere. Some rivers were slow and muddy, filled with thick vegetation and fallen logs. Others were deeper channels where enormous fish moved beneath the surface like living torpedoes. In this environment, life did not simply walk across open ground. It swam. It waded through shallow water. It hid beneath murky surfaces where predators could strike without warning. For most hunters, this landscape created a problem. Land predators were built for dry ground, while aquatic predators specialized in water. Each group was powerful within its own domain, but neither could truly control both. Spinosaurus shattered that boundary. At first glance, it did not resemble the typical image of a powerful land predator. Its body was long and somewhat low compared to other massive theropods. Its hind legs were shorter than those of dinosaurs built for high-speed running. Its jaws were narrow and elongated, filled with smooth conical teeth instead of the blade-shaped teeth seen in carnivores designed for tearing flesh. These teeth looked remarkably similar to those of animals that specialize in catching fish. The shape of the snout also resembled modern crocodilians more than traditional dinosaurs. Early paleontologists studying the first fossils of Spinosaurus were puzzled by these features. The anatomy did not fit neatly into the familiar categories of land-based hunters. And yet one fact remained undeniable. Spinosaurus was enormous. Some estimates suggest it may have reached lengths exceeding 15 meters, making it longer than Tyrannosaurus rex and possibly the largest known carnivorous dinosaur ever discovered. But size alone was not what made Spinosaurus extraordinary. Its greatest advantage was access to environments that other giant predators could not fully exploit. Most large theropods hunted animals that lived primarily on land. Their prey consisted of herbivorous dinosaurs that moved across plains, forests, and valleys. But Spinosaurus entered a world where prey existed both above and below the waterline. Massive fish inhabited the rivers, some growing several meters long and armed with sharp teeth of their own. Aquatic reptiles and amphibians also thrived in these waterways. For a predator capable of capturing such animals, the river itself became a hunting ground filled with opportunity. Fossil evidence suggests that Spinosaurus possessed dense bones, a feature often seen in animals that spend time submerged in water. This added weight helps counteract buoyancy, allowing a large creature to remain stable while moving through water rather than floating awkwardly at the surface. Another remarkable feature of Spinosaurus was its tail. Recent discoveries have revealed that the tail was not the narrow whip-like structure once imagined. Instead, it was tall and paddle-shaped, with elongated vertebrae forming a broad fin-like surface. This design would have provided powerful propulsion while swimming, allowing the dinosaur to move through water with surprising efficiency for an animal of its size. Combined with its elongated snout and fish-catching teeth, this adaptation strongly suggests that Spinosaurus was highly capable in aquatic environments. It could patrol rivers and lagoons in search of prey, snapping its jaws around large fish with rapid precision. And in such waters, speed mattered less than sudden bursts of power and the ability to maneuver in confined spaces. Yet Spinosaurus did not abandon the land entirely. That is where its true uniqueness begins to appear. While many aquatic predators are limited once they leave the water, Spinosaurus retained the ability to move across land when necessary. Its legs, though shorter than those of some theropods, were still strong enough to support its massive body. Imagine the impact of such a creature emerging from a riverbank. A giant predator, dripping with muddy water, dragging itself onto solid ground where herbivorous dinosaurs had come to drink. Animals that believed the shoreline offered safety might suddenly find themselves face to face with a hunter that followed them out of the water. In that moment, the usual escape routes became uncertain. Running away from the river no longer guaranteed survival. The predator could pursue them onto land. This ability to cross between environments gave Spinosaurus an advantage few other predators possessed. Prey species often survive by understanding the limits of their enemies. If a predator cannot swim well, the water becomes a refuge. If it cannot run long distances, open plains offer an escape. But when a predator exists comfortably in both worlds, those assumptions break down. The river is no longer a barrier. The shoreline is no longer neutral territory. Every movement becomes a risk. Animals must constantly reconsider where danger might appear next. The presence of Spinosaurus may have reshaped the behavior of many other creatures living in the same ecosystem. Our herbivores approaching the water to drink might have done so cautiously, scanning both the banks and the surface of the river for signs of movement. Smaller predators that relied on fishing or scavenging near waterways might have avoided areas where Spinosaurus was known to hunt. Even other large carnivores may have kept their distance from the swampy territories where this giant specialized. In this way, the influence of Spinosaurus extended far beyond the animals it actually killed. Simply existing in that environment could alter the movement patterns and decisions of countless species around it. The rivers themselves were filled with formidable prey. Fossil evidence suggests that Spinosaurus hunted enormous fish such as Onchopristis, a sawfish-like creature equipped with a long tooth-lined rostrum. Catching such prey required speed and precision. The narrow jaws of Spinosaurus, lined with interlocking teeth, were perfectly suited for gripping slippery bodies and preventing escape. Once captured, the prey could be swallowed or torn apart depending on size. Some scientists believe Spinosaurus may have spent long periods partially submerged, waiting for fish to swim within reach before snapping its jaws shut in a sudden ambush. This strategy would have required patience as much as power. But the rivers of ancient North Africa were not quiet places. They were complex ecosystems where many predators competed for resources. Crocodile-like reptiles, large fish, and other carnivorous dinosaurs shared these habitats. Or, in such an environment, the ability to switch between hunting fish in water and pursuing prey on land would have been extremely valuable. When fish populations shifted or seasonal changes affected the rivers, Spinosaurus could adapt its strategy rather than relying on a single food source. This flexibility may explain how such a massive predator sustained itself in a landscape filled with both opportunity and competition. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of Spinosaurus is how it forced prey animals to rethink their survival strategies. A herd of herbivorous dinosaurs approaching a riverbank might once have considered the water an escape route. But the presence of a predator capable of entering the river changed that calculation entirely. Crossing a river might lead directly into the jaws of Spinosaurus. Remaining on land might expose them to other carnivores waiting along the shore. The decision became a gamble. Every option carried risk. In ecosystems shaped by such uncertainty, fear spreads quickly because there is no clear refuge. This is what made Spinosaurus so intimidating within its environment. It was not necessarily the fastest predator on land, nor the most specialized hunter in water. Instead, it controlled the boundaries between those worlds. By operating at the edge of both environments, it turned the landscape itself into part of the hunt. Rivers became traps. Shorelines became ambush points. Escape paths narrowed as animals struggled to predict where the danger would appear next. The giant sail rising from the back of Spinosaurus added another layer of mystery to its appearance. Formed by elongated neural spines extending upward from the vertebrae, This sail could reach impressive heights above the body. Scientists continue to debate its exact function. Some believe it may have helped regulate body temperature by absorbing or releasing heat. Others think it served as a display structure used in communication with other members of the species. Whatever its purpose, the sail would have made Spinosaurus visually striking as it moved through its environment. Imagine the sight of that towering silhouette emerging slowly from mist rising over a swamp, the tall sail cutting through the air like a prehistoric flag. When paleontologists first discovered the remains of Spinosaurus in the early 20th century, much of the original material was tragically lost during World War II. For decades, scientists had only limited fossils to study, leaving many questions unanswered. In recent years, new discoveries have transformed our understanding of this dinosaur. Fossils found in Morocco have revealed details about its tail, limbs, and bone structure that confirm its semi-aquatic lifestyle. Piece by piece, researchers are reconstructing the life of an animal that once dominated one of the most unusual ecosystems in dinosaur history. Spinosaurus reminds us that the prehistoric world was far more diverse than simple images of giant predators chasing prey across open plains. Evolution often creates specialists that thrive in environments where others struggle. In the watery landscapes of Cretaceous North Africa, Spinosaurus became something unique. A massive hunter capable of crossing the boundary between land and water by exploiting resources that few other dinosaurs could reach. It did not need to be the fastest runner or the most powerful swimmer. Its strength came from occupying the space where those worlds overlapped. For animals living alongside it, survival meant navigating a landscape where danger could rise from muddy water or emerge suddenly from the riverbank. The usual rules of escape no longer applied. Every decision carried uncertainty. Drink from the river and risk a silent predator beneath the surface. Avoid the water and face hunger or dehydration. The presence of Spinosaurus transformed the environment itself into a source of fear. In the end, Spinosaurus stands as one of the most unusual predators evolution ever produced. Not because it was simply larger than others, but because it refused to follow the normal rules that shaped most dinosaurs. It lived where rivers met land, where prey could vanish beneath the surface or disappear into dense vegetation, and it adapted to both possibilities at once. That ability turned entire landscapes into hunting grounds and forced every other creature in its world to think differently about survival. The land was no longer safe. The water was no longer safe. Even the space between them carried the shadow of a predator that could appear from either side. And that is what truly defined Spinosaurus. Not just size, not just strength, but the rare ability to control the boundaries of its environment and turn uncertainty itself into the most powerful weapon in the prehistoric world. Yet even creatures that seem perfectly adapted to their world face challenges over time. Environments shift. Rivers change course. Climate patterns alter the balance of ecosystems. The same wetlands that once supported immense populations of fish and reptiles could gradually transform into different landscapes. As conditions changed, even a predator as specialized as Spinosaurus would need to adapt. The age of giant reptiles that ruled land, sea, and sky was approaching its final chapters. And in the distant future, the world those giants dominated would disappear entirely, leaving only fossils to tell the story of how extraordinary life on Earth once was.